Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the TCI headquarters. It's getting a little cooler. We got to wear pullovers and sweatshirts and all that stuff.
Hoodie season.
Be okay weather Saturday in Death Valley. It's going to be sunny. I think it's 60.
Sunny, 68.
68.
I like that.
These guys will love it. I loved last week's, 80s plus, but didn't love the football game. So
I didn't either.
Huge game. Normally, Notre Dame comes to Clemson. Everybody in the country is talking about this game this week, right?
Well, they are. They are talking about this game this week too, but for different reasons.
Yes. It's not what we expected when we looked at the schedule of this season, and Will's going to talk about what he's thought about this game all season. But it's just, gosh, it doesn't have the feel of a Clemson Notre Dame game whatsoever. A game that Clemson's been pointing towards since they got absolutely whipped last year up in South Bend. Let's hope we don't see that again Saturday. But let's talk about keys. I'm going to mix it up. Cameron, I'll let you go first.
All right.
Well, I think
You weren't prepared.
you put me on blast. I think it all starts physically. You got worked last year, and that's what y'all said. And I think you just have to go out there and be able to win at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that Clemson hasn't done a good job of this year. I think they actually did a good job against NC State at it, even if it didn't result in a win. So, I mean, hey, maybe you found a little bit of momentum. You got to be able to win up front, and I'll save the potential absence or the official absence for Notre Dame when we talk a little bit later.
Okay.
That's definitely a key.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't know what absence you're talking about.
Kicker.
For Clemson, I think the key, you mentioned being physical, but I think for Clemson to win this game, because I think the defense, after what happened last year, gave up 260 yards rushing. I can't remember the last time Clemson gave up that many rushing yards. I'm sure it was against Georgia Tech and Paul Johnson back in the day. That's probably how far it goes back. But a traditional team to give up 263 yards to a traditional offense, you probably go back pre-Brent Venables, right? I mean, that's probably how long it's been. So it's been a while. So I think the defense is going to come to play. The offense and the offensive line in particular, to me, they have to run the football for 125 yards. They run for 125 yards, they'll win this game. That's all they need is 125 yards. It's enough to keep Notre Dame honest.
They have 3 fumbles?
Well, that's the other thing. They can't fumble it, but that goes without saying. We've said that forever. But I think they really need to run for 125 yards. If they can do that, then that's going to keep Notre Dame guessing just enough to where they can have a passing game. But if they get one-dimensional against that Notre Dame defense, it's going to be a long day for Kate Klubnik. They have to stick with the run.
All right, I'm going something different. Clemson needs to come out and score some daggone points in the first quarter. They need to come out with an offensive script. We're going to run these plays. We've developed our script, so we don't care what the heck the defense is running. We've got a script that's going to work. We're going to come out and score some points early. Clemson has got to get on these guys early. You got all the fans will be there, but all the fans are sitting there waiting on, here we go again.
Something to cheer about.
Right? Mm-hmm. Here we go again. Notre Dame comes out and scores early, gets up 7, gets up 10. Fans and players, from what I've seen on the sidelines, are going to be like, okay. Clemson needs to come out and get a lead, get some points early, get the fans in the game where they're like, oh, wow. Kind of like NC State. Those fans showed up at that game. They weren't expecting to win that game.
No, they weren't. But they were there.
Chase was there. He sat in the stands with NC State folks. They didn't expect that. And we've seen that a lot of places Clemson's gone this year. Like Duke game. They didn't expect to beat Clemson. But guess what? The fans get in the game when they're like, whoa, wait, what? So Clemson fans, if Clemson can come out and play good up front, Garrett Riley, get yourself the script together that's going to work. Don't hand the ball off on first down and get a yard and then say, okay, on second down, I'm going to throw it over wide to Shipley or Maffa. Have a script that's different. Come out there and score. Throw the ball on first down. If you're going to be faced with 2nd and 9 and have to throw the ball there, you've probably got a better chance of throwing the ball some on first down when they're totally not expecting it. So anyway, my big key is Tigers need to come out. They need to do what you talked about earlier, Will. This needs to be the turning point. They need to come out fired up, nasty, and say, today's going to be different. And if they come out and do that early, I think the fans get rocking in the Valley, even though it's a noon game. We saw a noon game from Florida State. Got real loud. I think that could be a turning point. If Clemson comes out and they fall behind, think we've seen what that formula turns out.
Well, I think the other thing you talk about the passing on first down. I think the other thing that is a big key in the offensive game, and we talked about it the entire game. I think we're going to smash our head into our keyboards. If you have the first down pass and it's not perfect and it doesn't get you yards, please don't hand it off of the middle on 2nd and 10.
Don't go Shipley at the B gap, please.
Because then you're staring at 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 9, and we all just close our eyes.
Yeah, it's almost like this offense does no self-scouting.
Yeah.
Because we're all watching the game, and we know, and we're talking about it on the sidelines. I'm down there talking with Todd and others. We know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And guess what? It doesn't work. This drive, you get 3 and out, you're off the field. You try it again. Guess what? It doesn't work. Get off. Then all of a sudden, you're in the second quarter, and you're behind, and you're like, oh, let's try something.
We're down 10-0. We got to try something different.
Script some plays that are completely different and come out and shoot with things we haven't seen.
I like your thing about getting on top of them early because I remember last year's Notre Dame game. Another team that went to the game and thought, there's no way we're going to beat Clemson. Last year, Clemson's number 5 in the country, undefeated, had a 14-game winning streak. Everybody's talking college football playoffs, all that. Notre Dame was 5-3. Was searching for some kind of identity. Had a quarterback, couldn't throw a forward pass in their life. But they got on top of Clemson. They got the block punt, got up 7-0, and then you knew it was over after that. The crowd got rolling.
Went from 60 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour?
It did, and it just snowballed. Dad said there was a one interception, went to the 1 yard line, they scored a touchdown, then they get a pick 6 later. It's like Notre Dame scored 3 of its 3 touchdowns, had 35 points. 3 touchdowns came off pick 6s or, a block punt. But they got on top early, and it snowballed for Clemson. That's what Clemson needs to do.
It's okay to score in the first quarter.
Yeah. Who told me
it's okay? It's not against the rules.
Well, I'll tell you what, that worries me, what you bring up with special teams, because over the last few weeks or even the entire year, Clemson special teams has not been pretty. They're missing kicks. The punts are never getting
early in the season, but
and they're slowly fading away.
Yeah.
And they've got nothing in the return game because they're putting Hamp Green out there because they know he's going to catch it.
The only thing they do is they return punts well. They cover punts well.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they do well.
Well, and Will Shipley out, most likely.
Yep.
We're probably going to see Hamp Green back there doing punts again.
Because he's the sure hands guy, and that's all.
I don't care with it as long as they don't fumble it.
Exactly.
John Blau with Charles supposed to secure. He literally holds his breath every time Clemson goes to field the punt because he's like, they're going to fumble it. I just know they are. And so last week when Shipley bobbled it, he says, I was giving a good laugh at John. He gets into those punts, man, when Clemson has to return punts.
I shouldn't have anxiety when somebody's returning a punt.
No,
but
I just expect it now.
I'm just glad.
Which is the problem.
All right, Will. Time to put your money where your mouth is. Prediction time.
Yeah, so this game, a lot of people think Notre Dame's going to blow Clemson out, and I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Clemson's defense is too good to allow that to happen. Now, again, I can't control or predict that the offense may turn it over 7 times, and then, of course, that would happen. But I think if everything is played out, at least to the way it was last week, where you don't have too many turnovers and you're not putting yourself too much in bad situations, your defense is going to give you a chance to win the game. I think that's the case this week. The over and under is 46 in this game. Notre Dame is a 3-point favorite. Stay away from the 3, but go with the under. I see Notre Dame 20, Clemson 17.
Going for the upset, and for those that haven't followed, Will has been saying all season long that the one game Clemson loses.
This one, and I'm sticking with it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they've lost 4.
Unfortunately, that's not where we're coming in undefeated. All right, Cameron.
Well, I actually think the last time I was on before I got COVID was when we were talking, when you threw us the curveball to talk about the Notre Dame game.
The 10-2 finish.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to have to stick with where I am. I'm going to go 27-17. Notre Dame might not have one of the best tight ends in the nation. Heck, with Brock Bowers out, he was probably, every time you turned on Game Saturday, probably the best guy you were looking at. But he's not there. I don't think it changes enough. So I'm going to go with 27-17 Notre Dame.
Again, take the under.
All right. First question is, how many points is the Clemson offense going to give Notre Dame?
7.
Dabo talked about that today.
7.
We've seen that
28
continuously.
If
it's only 7, that's probably good.
And that's where my 7's coming from compared to the 20.
Well, that's where my 7's coming from. I figured they'd only give up 13 originally.
Yeah.
So,
all right. I'm going on the other side of the fence. Shocker.
I never would have expected.
At some point, Clemson is going to play 4 quarters of Clemson football.
And they're going to win a big
We
game.
have not seen it all year. They got nothing to play for. Nobody's giving them a bit of a
Haven't
chance
won a
this
big game all
week.
year.
It means absolutely nothing. This is as I said earlier, if Clemson can just come out and find a way to get a lead, Death Valley can make a huge difference. So just go out there and have some fun. Players, fans. I think Clemson's going to find a way. I'm not sure exactly how that is. That offense has been close. At some point we're going to see some things happen. It's a heck of a defense to try to have that happen against. So I can understand why these guys went the way they did. But I just feel like Clemson's defense, as Dabo said in his press conference this week, Clemson has a national championship defense.
They do.
The defense has played well enough.
Number 6 in the country.
So I'm going with this formula. Defense plays national championship defense. Offense does not give Notre Dame any points. Offense finds enough to outscore Notre Dame's.
So 17.
So I'm going to go Clemson 24.
Holy Toledo.
They're actually going to score in the first quarter. The fans are going to maybe Clemson gets a turnover in the score this week. I'm going to go Clemson 24, Notre Dame 17, and we have a little bit better feeling next week.
I mean, I like it.
If you two guys are right, last time I checked, Clemson's going to be under 500
for the first time since.
with 3 games to go in the season.
To 2010.
A chance of not even going bowling. So that's Clemson. This is it. This is the turn.
It's a huge game.
This is the turning.
And I mentioned earlier, Clemson hasn't won a big game all year. Open season, lost to Duke, lost the Florida State game, and then lost, you could say, either one of the games last week were big, and they lost both of them. And so, I mean, they haven't won a big game all season long.
Last time they won one ACC championship.
ACC championship game, yeah.
And then the other thing, I should have mentioned it when you were talking about your key, obviously getting on them early. When was the last time we got to see the Clemson defense play with a lead early before they have any kind of fatigue? If they can pin their ears back with a lead early.
I know that answer. Florida Atlantic. They were up 7-0.
And I think that turned out pretty well.
Yeah, and of course, by the way, the defense gave them the 7-0 lead. Wiggins, that'd be nice to get a pick 6. Hey, Hartman's he's prone to do that. Ask Louisville.
If you're in the defense, you're at the point now where you feel like maybe we need to score.
Barrett Carter says that the key for them is they got to get pressure. He was asked, what did Louisville do different the last 2 years to really affect Sam Hartman? He says it's simple. They just get pressure up the middle on him and make him get off his point. And that's what happens. He says that's what we got to do.
They've got to get
Pretty simple, yeah.
Yep. And we'll see, guys. Big game this week. Even though they're 4-4, there's a heck of a big difference between being 5-4 and 4-5 with 3 games to go in the season. So Tigers need to come out and take care of business, give the fans a little bit of hope. Tyler from Spartanburg will be able to call in next week with better questions. So we're going to have everything covered for you this weekend from Death Valley. Got a ton of stuff headed your way this week. Got basketball tipping off, I think, Monday night next week. Is that right? November 6th?
Exhibition game already.
Exhibition, yeah. So, I mean, got things, a lot of exciting things coming up here in Clemson. I'm going to be the class half full guy today. So you guys stay tuned to TCI. We have everything covered, most complete coverage of Clemson athletics.